Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to, share some light, some love, some encouragement, some different perspectives on life, hopefully. And I'm going to share a little bit of my story. So sincerely, all of you who are tuning in, Lizard Tree as traveling, thank you. Blessings to all of you joining in sincerely, who are present in the here and now with me, and those who may join this, this conversation, this trip of consciousness and thought, those who might hit play and join at a later day. Thank you again for joining me. And for those who are new to this Talcottian adventure, holy cows, man, open up the mind and the heart, and you might be surprised by what you could discover here. Because this is a place for growth. Maybe that's an honest and accurate way to describe it. This space that has been emerging with me, around me, through this here on YouTube, the live streams, and the open panel conversations, which I will drop the link here pretty soon. And for those who wish to join, we'll see what the universe brings forth and where the feelings take us. Because it is through the feelings and the consideration of what we see, feel, think, and hear. Through the consideration of those things, we grow in our understanding. And there's a lot of growth, I think, that's been happening through here. I know I've been growing as a man, as an individual, growing in my self-awareness, my self-control, I've been growing in ways that I feel are important. And so today, the topic, the idea, really inspired by the thumbnail, Free from Fear Friday. Why not? And yes, it is Friday. We'll get into the Friday thing here in a minute. And blessings to you, all of you joining in too. Yes, shout out to the ladies of Talcottia, the ladies joining in, the ladies and the men. You know what? Praise everyone. Let me not get too far off track. But here, Free from Fear Friday. Feed your faith and your fears will starve, right? There's that old analogy, you got two wolves within you. Your fear and your faith. Which one's gonna win? The good one, the bad one? The one that's gonna win is the one that receives your time, your attention. Which thought patterns do you wish to grow within yourself? Feed your faith, man. Feed your faith. Because the old adage, where attention and focus go, your energy and the time, it develops growth. And our attention, our focus directs our energy, and that energy is going to develop growth. So find faith-filled thoughts. Find hopeful thoughts and figure out how you can achieve them. Find faith over fears each day, and it really does. You can adapt you. I should have done that. You can adapt you, nurture you, and how you grow. Faith is an incredible gift that's awaiting our reception. That's an interesting thought. I spent my life not understanding faith. I was confused by it. I needed to see evidence, and I needed to have all the details figured out, or I wasn't willing to even try it most times. Which is a psychological pattern which apparently has been identified. Who we are, brothers and sisters, as people, who we are is such incredible. I don't know. The potential of what we are has severely been underestimated. I mean, even science it doesn't have all the understandings, the top minds in different fields, you know? There's still answers we don't know about how life works, how it happens. What I've been finding for myself sincerely, living in the present, that practice of becoming one with all of time and all that is, and actually really sinking into the experience of each moment throughout the day, I think that's the eternal life. Maybe one of the signs, one of the perspectives of the eternal life that can be known through following the way of love, man. And love is truly where it's at. It's been so misunderstood. God has been so misunderstood. Love has been so misunderstood. I bet many of us have been misunderstood. And the misunderstandings that are all around, man, we live in a backwards world. It's time for, you know what? The time is now, and now is where we live. We can do or whatever God might allow us to do. I think we can feel whatever God, meaning the circumstances, the real situation, the real form of experience creates. It creates everything. There's a God that was spoken of, the Father, right? That Jesus, Yeshua, was teaching. That God. I encourage everyone to try and get to know that God for yourself. Not 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 the religious ways necessarily, but find the truth in whatever you can. Actually, from what I've been learning and what I've been seeing in my own life, seek to know God, and God will reveal itself to you in its own unique, special way. It already has been. We just may not realize it. This is how my life was. I didn't realize that God was revealing itself to me throughout my life, moment by moment by moment, through the all that is, because God is all that is. We get to believe that we are, and through that belief and trust, we can say, I am. And since you experience the I am as I do, in a physical form and a body, maybe a different gender or color or whatever, but we're basically all the same. The human beings is what I'm talking about. How did I get to that? I know I was intending to talk about God, growing faith sincerely. Faith is simply a surrender of your control, your desire for control. Now, you don't give away your willingness to serve, to do. No, you increase the willingness to serve and to do, but you surrender your attachment to the outcomes and the reasons why you're doing things. Hold on. Just a moment, please. There we go. And just because I'm not certain, I know you showed a face, but I'm not, and I don't remember the name. Karen? Glitch? What do you go by? Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Um, it shows Agent of Chaos on my screen.
Yes, correct. Because I'm not sure who you are. So here, I can change it. But
Oh, I got it. I got it. I got you. StreamYard thing. Okay. Well, I can chill in the background. I don't have to be up or anything at the moment.
okay. Um, have you joined before, or have we met before? I'm curious.
Yeah. I was the one that was making chuck roast that one day or that one night. I think
Oh,
I was
that's right.
gummy and I was really really high and I decided I was thankful for chuck roast because I couldn't think of nothing.
Gotcha. That's right. Um, tell you what, your audio is really not that great, and
Got it. I'll scrub back through it live stream here.
yeah, and if you've got things you want to jump in with, you know, and talk with me about, please feel free to join back up. But I'm going to talk to you about that. And thank you, Karen. Oh, you left me a note in the back. See, I didn't notice. Thank you. Sorry for that. Thank you for your patience, brothers and sisters. There's this world we live in is quite interesting. It's, there's a lot of things you can be aware of and a lot of things you can pay attention and some things you should pay attention to and some things really don't have to worry about. Like, I guess what that just was. um Growing faith sincerely, growing in faith. I This was pointed out in one of the sermons I went to at a church here. uh Faith, the best way to show faith is through praise, right? Because you speak highly of that which you trust, and that's really what faith is a trust. But faith in the Creator means a faith in the moment. It means a faith of the power that's within you and a faith in the power that's moving all others. It's really, faith is easier in my life. I wish I'd realized this myself a long, long, long time ago, but I didn't. And, praise God. Faith is available for us to receive. Okay. It's available for us to choose. The faith I'm talking about is the faith that Yeshua, in his story showed. He had such faith that he would overcome. If he followed the will, that he would be whatever it was, right? His faith was in God and the Father, in the power that moved through him, moved him. That same power that moves through him, you, me, all of us, that same power that moves time, it's there. It's here and now. The perfection of healing, the perfection of forgiveness, the perfection of compassion, the perfection of love. Man, brothers and sisters, the perfection of love, that is divine. In my life, I don't know of a better word. um, Love is God. This is what my note is, right? Here was my idea earlier today. And again, love is God. It's It's through love that the truth is revealed. The truth is shown to me by God with God's purpose. The truth is shown to me moment by moment by moment by what I experience around me, within me, by what I think, what I observe myself seeing and thinking. So God's love is that which reveals the truth for me, through me, with me at each moment. Just like with you. In the society we were born into, though, we don't understand the power that's within us. We're taught to recognize the power of others, the authority, all this nonsense. That's why costumes work. And it's a bizarre play. I'm talking about the entire prison and military structures. It's like, it's a real serious game that people are dying because of mass conditioning, mass brainwashing. I don't know about you, but I think in my generation, maybe, many of us were convinced to believe that war is just normal. It's just normal. It's just normal. Humans fight. Humans are always at war. They can't find peace. It's not possible. And these ideas, I used to believe that ending wars was not possible until I realized, holy shit, peace is what's natural. It's not natural for us to be in states of constant depression, anxiety, conflict, fear. That's not healthy. And yet it's been normalized. Oh, you're feeling feelings? Oh, here's some medications to numb you so you can get your ass back to work, right? Because you got to be a good employee. Otherwise, you can't have shelter and food. And it's like, what is going on in this world? I used to think this was normal. Couldn't convince me that there was anything wrong with what America was doing. We were the best thing in the world. Holy shit. I don't know if I might have bought into that for a while. Anyway, I'm not here to speak ill against any state or nation, but the facts show I am the record and the facts show that I am a military veteran. I served as a couple of enlistments, active duty in the Army, allegedly in defense of our nation and to share democracy with those in the Middle East. I bought into the first Bush propaganda, the nonsense, that theatrics they put out about the babies in the hospital turned out to be untruths, but it didn't matter. War was the answer, right? Because that's what America was taught. That's what we know how to do. Can't figure it out, we'll just beat it into submission. Praise God. I love God so much. So much is God in my life, my thoughts, my prayers, God is the answer to these riddles. Why is people like this? God allows it. Why does God allow it? For a purpose. What is the purpose? We get to choose. All we really know is that we are, right? And we are that which we are aware of. And, well, let me not go too deep into that because that's a newer thought. What are we if we are aware? Hey, blessings to all of you who are joining in, have been joining in. I'm just kind of rambling and wandering here with some thoughts. My thoughts earlier, back to my thoughts from earlier, my praise of God, my faith in God. Sincerely, guys, I know how this can sound, but please, if you just hear and receive my words with authenticity, honesty, I'm just speaking from the life I am living so far. This relationship with God and me, that's kind of new, to be honest, but holy cows, man. The love I feel from what I know, it's so important. It really is. So my thought earlier today was, I trust God so much. Trust sincerely. These are just obvious words that can easily be proven. So if you can accept it, try it out. Maybe try to prove me wrong, but just don't disagree for the sake of disagreement. This is just a logical conclusion to come to. See if it works for you. Based on my past and everything I know, I trust God to lead me through the experiences I do and do not need to experience. The amazing thing is, I get to choose the whole way. How glorious is that? Our Creator allows us to choose the life we want to live, to experience the things we do and do not need to from our perspective. But in the greater perspective, I trust there's a perfection to everything. That includes you. Even in the current state, the current condition you are in, there is a level, there is a perfection, an essence of perfection that is you, within you. And the reality is, we are now. We are the now. And it's from us, through us, in the now, together, all of us, as the now, the future will be created, emerge, and will be formed. Our God is so incredible, so amazing. I mean, in some ways, I guess I can understand why it could be so easily misunderstood, but on many other levels, no, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, once I started seeing the truth, praise God. See, because God is love. God is that which reveals the answers. And that is how I believe and I trust we are controlled. We are nurtured and grown, each of us, individually and collectively. We are nurtured and grown through knowledge. I view God not only as love, but as the infinite knowledge that is available. God is the knower that God is the knowing that allows the learning and the knowing from within to emerge. Our God is so amazing, so mystical. It's so mysterious to wonder about, to consider. And there's been many people, I mean, people throughout time have spent time considering these things. The mystics and the philosophers, and there was many of them throughout time. There's even many miracle workers, many saints people in history who pursued the light of God in which to emerge and experience miraculous things. And hey, We've got another guest here, so welcome. Whoops. Welcome, Cage. How you doing today, brother?
I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling great, Talcott, Mr. Talcott. How you feeling, bro?
I am feeling blessed. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten to mention earlier. I stopped by the Machine Lies earlier today. Were you there,
Yeah, we're on there. You don't remember? Come on.
dude? This is where my mind is at. I'm getting so much into this. The past is gone, man. Unless it's relevant to now, I really don't remember. I don't remember. I mean, I remember being there and doing it, but I called you an idiot. Well, I don't feel any guilt or remorse.
Acronym. I'm pretty much an idiot sometimes. Everyone's an idiot in a way.
Yeah, until we stop getting in our way. And actually, whoa, I didn't do that. Actually, that's one of my thoughts on how God may work. It's kind of a joke, I think. When you can sit back and observe detached, but understand, know the different parts, the different characters. When you watch the patterns that people show, their patterns will, you'll find the contradictions, you'll find what's really within them. But people are funny when they get emotional. I'm guilty of this myself. It's, I've obviously gotten emotional and made myself look like a joke many times. Hoping to get over that. Welcome back, Cage.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, you're good, Talcott, man. Fuck.
I know. I'm actually, Cage, I'm actually convinced, absolutely convinced that I am blessed, that God is with me. What I don't understand.
God, or whatever you want to call it. Reality is curated to the observer, to the individual. So whatever you want to call God, whatever, the synchronicity, it's always been with you. It always will be.
I
And it's
know.
about learning how the fucking game works and that you want to play the game. So pretty much what it is, there's an algorithm to life. So either you're gonna get played by it or you're gonna play with it. You're gonna use, you're gonna, it's like it goes back to the water principle. Flow like the water and all. Yeah, you're gonna use the reality and flow with it, or you're gonna be, whatever.
Here, hold up for just a moment. We've got another guest here who I truly, truly want to welcome. Brother, the machine lies. Good to
Hey,
see
what's up,
you,
guys? What's popping?
I got perfect timing, like
Yeah,
usual.
for
man.
sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Um, talking about the applying this knowledge, though, Cage. This is what I've been doing. I have been learning and applying these things. God has allowed me a very unique opportunity, I think. And I'm really trying to figure out what to do with what I've been learning. Because here, the truth is, I know for a fact the peers that I learned from in my coaching, the certification, the different trainings I went through, those guys are living quite different lives than me. Some of them are doing pretty damn well for themselves, and I know we're applying the same things. So, machine lies, growing faith, or anything you want to take us. Go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
I think that's one of the essential components to putting forth or self mastery. I think is just that you don't really have to check if you did a good job. One of the things is that whether you fail or win, application is about applying yourself to your fullest extent. It's not necessarily about getting a specific result. Otherwise, it would be reduced to technique. Skill is not technique.
You're on point.
Hold
Yeah,
up. Yes.
skill.
You're extremely on point with that, because when it comes to any magical operation or whatever you want to call it, like something beyond what you're being put into, what happens is the outcome usually blocks it, or like any sort of emotional tie towards it usually blocks that, because it fucks it up. So it has to become like beyond second nature. It's like you don't think about your heart beating or your breath as an automatic function that's instilled into your subconscious mind. It becomes like a program, like your own program that you created, and then all of a sudden, now you're playing the game. You know?
Yeah, and that's why the program, people even call it programming, a la behaviorism. But the thing is that there is as Jack said, the application. There's such a wide gulf between theory and application. If you look at the mathematicians, who solve the issues of how to design something, then you look at the
So, what's
engineers
your
who.
definition of application, though? We're gonna have to start with that. So, application is what, doing something in this physical realm, like doing something physical to bring it into thought,
Actually,
emotion, and action.
he could finish. Sorry to interrupt, but I was hoping he could finish his point.
I was a little bit done. I think it's just that the engineer and the person who designs the machine is not like the person who fixes it or improves it. To go with what Cage is saying, and I think application, of knowledge. See, knowledge is inert. Application is not inert, and neither is technique. Technique is in a way processes, but those processes are immaterial. If you look at application, application is the physical aspect of it, but it's not exactly the technique or the knowledge of the thing. But as they say timing needs opportunity. you know you can get the timing, but there's not always the right opportunity to make the things happen. Like they say, like Nas said, he said, I'm I'm on schedule but never on time. So it's kind of like that.
Hey, we got someone else joining up. Welcome, Neuro Jack.
Yeah, I brought Neuro Jack here. Bless you guys.
Neuro Jack seems like a smart guy. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah,
have a
he
proper
is.
conversation.
Yeah, he is. He's an intelligent friend of mine for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, something I was considering regarding my comments on faith and fear. We get to choose each day what we focus our time and energy on. And so then I started wondering, how often do you do the things you want? How often do
Every
you
single day, all the time, right now,
and
constantly.
you want to do what you do?
Well, that's what I do. I do what I do. But Jack, you know what? I go into Rudolf Steiner and stuff have gone into this. I'd recommend growing a plant, like any sort of plant, like just grow a plant from a seed, and then from a seed, from germination all the way up, from a
Yeah,
seedling all the way up to.
he's got some
If
great stuff about that,
But
especially
even beyond
biodynamic.
that, yeah,
Yeah,
even beyond
biodynamic.
that, if you even if you do that, you'll realize how reality is formulated just through something like that.
Cage,
You can bring it to fruition.
Cage, I know more than you may think.
I know you do.
Well, we could share more of what I think, but you keep interrupting me, dude.
It doesn't matter what you think. What do you know?
What matters is what you do in my experience, Cage.
What matters is what creates matter is your subconscious program. What matters to you? Does that really matter to you, Jack? Well, therefore, it's going to create reality. No
Cage,
way. It's
why does
matter.
it not matter to you? Your behavior is what I'm discussing. Why does your behavior not matter to you, Cage?
It does matter. Obviously, it does matter in a way. I'm not saying it doesn't. Is a negative behavior? Is it something that's putting you down?
I'm addressing your behavior, Cage, and you were trying to say it's in my mind. If that's not gaslighting, I don't know.
My behavior is my own. I'm saying your reality is, even having this conversation, for some reason your mind projected this conversation in a way.
And so you're blaming my mind for your interruptions?
Yeah, it's called self-accountability. I'm going to blame myself, blame you. It doesn't really matter. Same thing.
Can we stop trying to blame and label and just kind of chill out? Right? I don't even know what I was trying to get out. See, this is what happens. We try and discuss topics for truth to grow and emerge. That's the natural course and the way that the Creator has designed us. But what prevents the truth from growing, and truth is the power that we can know, what prevents it is our primitive, juvenile impulses, the antichrist, the rebellious one, the one that keeps the truth from flowing. I've been working on my own patterns, right? Self-control. Actually intentionally trying to listen more than interrupt. I have a bad habit of interrupting. I recognize that in myself. And maybe that's why I'm seeing it in you, Cage. But
of course you're going to see it within me, because everything is a projection.
You a little bit broke up there, brother Cage. And I don't know if it's permanent, but I like what you were saying about growing the seed. In terms of application, it's huge because application, there's a bifurcated place of application right there, because you could think of the architect and the gardener, that they have different processes. I've heard this described before, that an architect has to lay the plan first and then he builds. But the gardener, he's always nurturing as the process goes along. So he has a kind of a different process of application, or nurturing. That nurturing is a different process than just simply planning.
Nurturing. These are some of the ideas I've been having about how do we change our minds from the real rigid and controlling ways.
Jack, you say you want to make a difference. You want to
let him finish his thought real quick, bro.
No, it goes back to the nurturing versus the planting, or the seeding, right, or the sowing of the seeds, right? When you leave a seed there, when you plant a seed, you can't go and disrupt it. You know what I mean? You have to let it lay where it is to develop roots and hopefully develop into something. So you can't constantly go over it and fuck with it and touch it and mess with it. You gotta just sow the seed, move on.
Well, if you try that with a child and watch how that goes, but yeah, I get you.
Well, you're not gonna get again. Now you're getting trapped into.
Well, my point is this: if it's nature versus nurture, which one can you change? Can you change your nature, or can you change your nurture, or both?
Both of them.
How do you know?
Because it's easy to do. You can do it yourself.
How do you change?
I just changed the nature of this environment. Cage can develop nurture. He can nurture his understandings and start realizing a little more self-control, the urge to just jump in and take over and start teaching, Cage, please start a little resistance, all right? There can be some nurturing there. And it does. Sometimes it requires an interruption to the nature, to the environment, or an interruption to the, hey, little slap on the face, so to say. Not literally, but life will bring us wake-up calls, and the realizations we can find can bring us to our knees. Both with, regret, shame, sadness, anger, pain, but also, man, I'm like, holy shit, could that be real? Is this real?
Is this fucking real, man? What's going on? Get out of your goddamn, what do you call it, Talcott? Get out of your fucking imagined disagreements, man. What are you talking about?
I like how they have the catchphrase "that is you." It's a literal symbol of projection. Like, did you not see? Like it's like
everything is you. That's the fucking funny part.
I know it's like that is you. Projection.
Of course it is.
Well,
of course it is. That's the funny part.
Can I ask Machine? I want to ask Machine 2 questions, and because I think it will add layer to what we're. That's interesting. Nice. I wanted to ask 2 questions of Machine of definitions. Can you tell me the difference between this is the first part and then second part? What is the definition of fate versus destiny?
Yeah, I think I went on this that when me and brother Talcott were talking about time, I was saying that fatalism is the belief in determinism, whereas destiny is a belief in purpose. Where it doesn't have to end up one way. You get to go along a road, and the road is leading you to your greatest purpose, but you don't have to follow it, because the future is not set in stone. I don't believe it is, but
it just sounds like another term for goodwill and determinism, right? So I think it's a mixture of both. You have the option, like I say, I always say this. I think the allegory of those books you had when you were a kid, where everyone has to start on the same page, but you can move around different pages depending on your actions and your decisions. So it's all written within a code, within the possibilities of reality, but you have the option to move around in it. So it's a mixture of both.
Well, it goes back to limitations are freedom in a way, and no limitations.
Well, yeah, anything you can imagine. If you can imagine it, if you can think of it, it's a possibility technically within reality. So you do have free will. You do have the choice to navigate around that parameter, the parameters that are set within this simulation or this reality that we're in. But
well, what's funny?
There is limitations to it.
What's funny is I think Cecil might be the reincarnation of Buddha, because he's very.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility. I think Jack may be same with Machine. Even you, Jack. We got Neuro Jack and Talcott Jack. Everything.
What do you mean? I didn't hear what you said, sir.
I think you may be Buddha. What are you, the Sattva, the Bodhisattva? You're inserting yourself into the matrix now, fucking around.
Well, I think that Machine made a good point the other day, which is something I've always believed, and I've heard very few people say it, which is that the version of Buddhism that we all kind of take for granted is not really Buddhism. And I think that that's something, and Cecil was talking about this the other day too. It's like people have a very warped view of what Buddhism was actually trying to get across to people, in my opinion.
It's a part of a key, right? You can look into any Vedic stuff, Buddhist stuff, any other religion, all the Abrahamic religion, the Talmud, the Quran, the Torah. It's all leaning towards the same thing. It all comes from the same thing, really. Right? So you can use your discernment and get great insights out of it. Sorry, Talcott.
Yeah. When are you going to take a back seat like you've been asked? When are you going to learn to cooperate with what is offered?
Right
Do
now.
you cooperate, or do I thank you? If it continues, you're gone. I'm not saying another word, all right?
Well, it's happening right now. You don't have to threaten me with kicking me off of your whatever this is. I'll take the back seat now. Is it what mudra is that, Talcott? Remember we tested out the tetragrammaton one. Remember the Spock thing? Can we do that now on camera again, Talcott? You remember you do the Spock thing. You create the triangle.
Holy cows. Holy cows, man. This lack of self-awareness, self-control, it's not healthy.
Well, it could
Go
be
ahead.
it could be on purpose, though.
I know. I don't believe it is. He has no malintentions. He's got a big heart and he cares a lot. But this has been the pattern of my life. I don't know why or how exactly to change it, but many people claim they're helping me and they do not see the damage and disrespect they're sharing. Right? The disruption to what my actual goal and hope is. I mean, I don't start the stream so I can sit here and fucking listen to Cage go on and on about anything he thinks of. It's like, I know we can get along. I'm actually, tell you what, I interrupted, and at this point, I'm actually I'm feeling good. I'm ready to wrap up, but unless you guys have something, different perspective, please.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll say this very quick. The name of your stream is Growing Faith, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess the question I would ask, and I ask myself this, is faith in what and to what end?
I have clarity on those for myself. Everyone will have to find those own answers, but truly it's faith in myself that I'll be able to figure out the next step, and that faith that God, the creator of the universe, it will reward my efforts, because I know the amount of kindness, mercy, forgiveness, compassion. I know how generous I have been to this world in my ways as often as I've been able. So I trust, I have faith. I have faith that my actions will be rewarded. The results haven't shown, other than what I feel. But nobody seems to care about what I feel. Let me not generalize or exaggerate. The direct experience I've had with many people seldom have seemed to care about how I feel, but I sure have a lot of advice to give. It's been interesting. Oh, the thing about my feelings, though, is I feel so amazing. I didn't know that I could. I didn't know being a human could feel so good without being drunk or without being without having sex. I think those were like the two ways I knew to be happy. Sex and booze. Today, I feel a joy. I feel a bliss. My goal was several years ago to know and better understand God. The realization I made for myself, I sought to know God through the truth that God might allow me to learn. And so I set my mind and my heart to learn. I learn as much as I can every single day, and I love learning. And that love in itself, if you find what you love learning and becoming or doing, creating, because that's who we are. We are images of the Creator. That means we're reflections of the universe. And we're all of time put together in the here and now. We are the present. It is us that is the happening of today. And through us, for us, with us, that will become tomorrow. But it really depends on what is our thought pattern? What is our intentions? What is our purpose? With chaotic thought forms in our minds, we live these karmic lives, repeating patterns over and over and over. Even in the same lifetime, we'll repeat these patterns of life. God is so amazing. God is so divine. God is so incredibly perfect. We just don't, you know what? Let me not, for it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you, but we don't understand how glorious and perfect God actually is.
I think that has to apply to every single person, you know, personally, because how are you going to wrap your mind around what God has given you? It's
Holy cows. Yeah. See, that is what I think I found out what was special about me, and I'm just like everyone else. What is special about me is my perspective, my knowledge, what I know within me, and my heart, my care. What do I love? Those are the two things that really make me unique apart from others. So recognizing my mind was what that's one of the gifts I noticed God has offered me. I allowed my mind to destroy me most of my life and to hold me back, but I've been seeking out minds like this, and I've been blessed to discover some brilliant people who,
yeah, uh like I think NJ Jeep Girl said that giving credit to God is giving credit to an imposter. But I think that in a sense, how people get stuck on the fact that God is love, God is truth, and God is something, and that to define God is really to limit God, in a way. But in another sense, God is more than love will ever be.
yep,
Wisdom,
yep,
wisdom seeks a beauty beyond relation. It's beyond anything imaginable. So, the thing is that, God is somewhere there, exalted. So, I mean, it's like Krishna says. He says, "Whatever you pray to, I will become that." You know what I mean, right? So it's like good luck. Like atheists have a god. It's just what they pray to, their own desires. They pray to the nature, whatever it may be. Wherever the buck stops for them. The end of all their answers, because knowledge begins with faith. You have to want to learn. And then afterwards, after you're done learning, you're not done finding out all the information. So you got to have faith in what you know. So faith comes before the movement of knowledge and after it. Knowledge is wrapped up in faith, whether you like it or not.
oh, guys.
And
Oh,
desire.
yes,
Yes.
beautiful. And I love how you said that. It's those unseen things, man. Faith, desire, knowledge, wisdom, those things are the bomb. That's the treasure we're here to capture, guys. The capitalist adventure, it's been steering us the wrong direction. There's better ways for us. And I'm confident we're here to create it.
Well, capitalism, like many things, are tools, and people think you can just pick up a tool and it's a good thing, but it depends on what you're using the tool for and how well you know how to use it. What plans God may have in spite of your plans. So,
Dude, yes. Tools in the hands of the ignorant, well, and wise can easily become weapons, but tools in the hands of someone skilled, a master, and they become toys. And there are people who have learned how to use the economy as a game, as toys, and by playing the playing with the toys and the games of economics, that messes with people's livelihoods, people's professions, their careers, their savings. I think it's time to rewrite the rules personally. So, hey, we got a couple more guests here. Scott 2B, Cecil.
Cecil, what's up?
They're freaking interdimensional demons, okay? You can make fun of me on CNN or wherever. I was just watching Alex Jones clips on Neuro Jack's channel.
All righty.
Gotta love Alex Jones.
Nah, I really don't. But sometimes he's funny when like the spit's flying everywhere and he's like snarling and.
Dude, when his blood pressure's up and he turns beet red, I'm fucking all in.
well, the truth is a weapon, just like everything else. The truth is a tool to a lot of people. I think that's kind of what we're all talking about.
You hope to find the truth amidst some of the bullshit.
I think lies might actually be a far more dangerous weapon than the truth, but still, I mean, the truth is only going to harm you if you can't handle it.
Well, most lies are only dangerous because you believe them.
That's a good point.
Every lie contains the truth. I mean, because the truth is the essence within all things. God is the truth. And so in every lie, the most convincing lie is simply well-concealed, obvious truth.
Is God perfection, Jack? Machine lies, Neuro Jack. You guys see God as pure perfection?
Well, yeah, for sure, yeah.
What leads you to believe that it's pure perfection? That God, the entity that we know as God, is pure perfection. The stories that we've heard, or an actual interaction of your own, or some sort of it's a sensation of feeling, a calling to revere this deity as the end all be all.
I think for me personally, I believe it's looking at nature. I believe that you could see nature and you could say, well, the other way they had it is to look at some part of nature that's uncreated. So in other words, the option with having a God that is limited, is in having a part of nature that is uncreated that God would simply have to mold. You get what I'm saying, Brother Scott? So
Sure.
Philosophically, it would have to be that nature, part of nature is in some sense uncreated, and God had to mold it into what it is. So therefore, God would be missing something. But I don't believe that. I believe that in order for nature to come into existence, I believe that it had to be made whole cloth. Because look at what it is. It's totally unique in my mind. I don't see anything outside of nature with a capital N. I mean, of course, I'm not talking about trees and rocks and stuff, but I'm talking about the universe.
Sure, but if we just look at trees and rocks and things, and we look at the dinosaurs here and stuff, and we look at the different generations of things that have come and gone, and now we're left with man, which, and elephants that are, well, a lot smaller than what a woolly mammoth or anything like that. I mean, we're talking about things have changed. Is that some sort of indication that the creator has looked down and said, okay, I don't really, and we know in the Bible with Noah and the flood, there was mistake. We're
That was
looking at
that was exactly what the the Neoplatonists, they had said the universe is eternal. The main reason they came to that conclusion was that God, in order for God to begin to create the universe, it would signify a change in God himself. And they said, well, God can't really change, because God is omniscient, omnipotent, and he's he has to be complete. So for him to need to do something is a sign of incompleteness. But for other philosophers, they said that's a sign of God's absolute power and will. They said for him to decide to do something, that means that God has absolute power and will. The onus is on his his freedom to create, whatever he wills, not on I guess the change or the percent, because they thought that in order for God, because they thought permanence is a sign of perfection. But I don't think it necessarily has to be.
See, I wonder. Go ahead. Yeah, that's definitely. But I wonder, and it's interesting. I'll probably have to go back and listen to that again to fully, under or understand it, if you will. Um, but let's walk away from the perfection a little more. Let's walk away from the idea that there's one God. I mean, the tablets came down from Mount Sinai. Was it with Moses or and they said, "Thou shalt worship no God before me." It doesn't say there's no gods. It says don't worship any others but me. And so let's say that there is more than one God. Let's say that, not Hercules and all that stuff, but let's just go, there's a house of gods. And the house of gods were put together, maybe to say a teacher or an omnipotent one that's above everyone. Okay, of all, let's say there's 12 gods instead of apostles, there's 12 gods. And the story that we've been told is on the seventh day he rested, but our God, instead of on the seventh day he rested, he actually slept for 6 days. And on the seventh day, he said, oh shit, my assignment's not done. Okay, so he went around to the other gods and took little pieces of their worlds, which the assignment was to build a world that could sustain itself. Takes little pieces, different colored people, Asians, takes the white people, takes everybody, mixes them all together, and takes different animals that shouldn't be together, mixes them together. And we end up with a world that is a little bit chaotic. And now, what is he left with? But the pure faith of all of us to try and turn it back around and make it so that, well, if this idea that there should have been a whole planet of Asians and a whole planet of Africans and a whole planet of Jack Talcotts or whatever, this has turned into we're all mixed together. How do we get along? All right. So the point isn't I know God better than you, or you know God better than me, or we should figure out who and what God is. Let's just go with what we've got. It ain't right. It's not fucking right. We don't get along. We're not facing the obvious truths, and we're not working towards the solutions.
Hey, Scott, you're speaking for yourself.
Okay.
Fuck, oh dear, man.
I'll digress. Interest yourself in some sort of opinion on how I was speaking for myself, though. Let me hear it.
Do you even listen to your words? I mean, you're just going on and on. I'm waiting for a point or a relevance, but it's story after story. And then you come to the conclusion that we're not doing this and we're not doing that. No, you are not doing the things you're claiming the world is not doing. And you said something, God, a long time ago. It reminded me of a thought, but here, please.
Well, here's what I would say, Scott. It's easy to mistake what people say for what people do. And it's also, people can use words to mean anything. It's like when you were talking about, I'm actually glad you brought up the 10 Commandments, for example, right? Like, what good is a commandment if it can't be understood by the people it's given to? You know what I'm saying? Like, And I think that
That's
that's
a
where
really good thing.
lost. People try to use the words rather than intent, and I think this is where everybody gets lost.
Here's what the thought that came up. There was a question about how do we come together? Seriously, people need to learn how to overcome the urge to talk and listen, because I see so many people having conversations at me and about me while they're around me, and then they're claiming they talked to me, but I'm like, no, I sat there and listened most of the time, but whatever, dude. I mean, people can practice listening. That's how we understand each other better. And then I'll yield.
Machine Lies, what did you hear in what I said? I don't think Jack kind of took it in. Maybe Neuro Jack did. I'm not sure. Cecil, you can weigh in. But on the fact that we're looking at this from a perspective that we think we know what's going on, and I don't think that's true.
Why do you think? Who doesn't know what's going on, and why do you think they don't? Unless you're talking about yourself.
In the world at large, we have a dozen different religions on top of another dozen different religions on top of each individual has their own perspective of what their fucking relationship with God is. So, do you think we're all tailor-made for each other, or do you think we're all being divided and pushed apart because of this?
Can I ask you this question, Scott? Do you
Sure.
choose to be confused, or is it done to you?
Well, no, I don't feel as though I'm confused. I think there's a lot of people out there that are, but people that are confused choose not to be confused or pretend they're not.
Yeah,
Typically.
I mean you specifically. I mean, just in general, do people choose to be confused, or is it just done to them?
I think this society puts a lot of bullshit on our plates, and to say you're not confused at best is just to not admit to yourself the facts. Jack, hey, let me ask you a question. Would you admit this statement to be true? The more you find out, the less you know.
Sure. So what?
Therein lies the fact of the matter. We just
right.
endlessly.
You imagined a case, you presented a case, you won, you presented a victory to yourself.
That's what you missed the point totally, Jack. I'm sorry. I'm going to yield. I'm going to let you go ahead and take this from here, and I'll just listen in the background. But I do believe, and I'll leave this parting thought right here, we can do better. Way fucking better. I yield.
I agree. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out to you, Scott, is maybe you and some of the people, this environment you've been in, maybe you've found a lot of people who are confused about the religions and stuff like that. I'm seeing a lot of people who've actually overcome the beliefs, who are speaking with the knowing. They are practicing what they're preaching. I'm trying to follow their lead and bring that around here. Our confusion is easily resolved when we become willing to put it down. But if we don't think we have any confusion, and I'm not saying that's here, our minds are tricky. They're very, very tricky. And it's real easy to confuse ourselves. I know this. I've suffered it. I've been a victim of myself before. But I know everything I'm saying is honest, and I can explain the things I say, but many people find offense at the things I say or disbelief. But I know what we're here to do, each of us, is help us all grow into a greater version of who we were. And to do that, we do, like Scott was saying, there's a lot of division because we've all got these different beliefs. But if we really just stay present with each other in the moment, because the moment doesn't last all day, it's temporary. You want to capture it. And our moments together are rare. I mean, it seems like they're all the time because we see that there's a frequency, and with the frequency creates the appearance of familiarity. But I'm telling you, you guys don't know me as well as you think, especially if you're holding me with some sort of pity or contempt or whatever.
Well, and the thing about the vision is it implies oneness.
That puppy, man. Scott's getting some love, man. Some puppy love.
I have to accept it.
Sweet.
This is the deaf and blind dog. He just loves me so much. I love him too. He's such a good puppy. He's such a good puppy. But it's like if you don't give him, 5 minutes a day, twice a day usually, 5 minutes or so to just love on you, then they're not comfortable. They don't have their own. So they as much as you have to be there and take care of them, they have to feel that they're doing something for you too. I think this is the point.
Oh, the heart of service. Even in animals, we want to serve that which we love, that which cares for us.
These dogs are not comfortable, all three of them, unless I give them a little bit of time in the morning, a little bit of time in the afternoon. It's just that's their life, and that's how I keep them calm. That's how I have control over them. I think it's just real simple things. I mean, this is my buddy. He's my puppy.
Hey, can I jump? I want to jump in because that's kind of one of the thoughts I've been playing with. The idea of we are in the image of the Creator. With that image comes the responsibility and the opportunity to nurture growth. We are here to influence, nurture, care for, to conserve what is natural, what is healthy, what is life-bringing. And if we look at ourselves as that, caretakers, nurturers of the relationships, of the property that we've received or acquired in our lives, I think it makes it a little smoother. Here's another guy with an edge. But I want to welcome Rant. How you doing today?
Hello, how's it going? How's everybody doing?
Feeling blessed, brother. I saw some of the interaction over at TBE last night. That was not wow. I didn't see how it ended up, but didn't seem like there was resolve possible there.
But hey, on that note, real quick, I just wanted to mention that Reagan just uploaded another video this morning, like almost directly after TML stream, talking about Jesus. It almost feels like it's a response video, although she never directly calls anybody out. But if you guys haven't seen that,
Interesting. Yeah, I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
Some people, Jack, want to hold up the appearance of having the ability to debate and argue, but when they don't actually have it, they resort to, real lowbrow tactics. And, like any kind of monkey in a cage, eventually they just start throwing shit everywhere, right? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'll go monkey style too, you know what I mean? Like, we could do that.
Well, and I want to say this really briefly. If the tactics are to divide and conquer and demoralize, then shouldn't we just do the opposite of that?
It's a lot of people would get demoralized when they get insults hurled at them. I'm a special kind of fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like it's like the hitchhiker who's a serial killer who gets picked up by a serial killer. You know what I mean? It's like that situation.
Poetic. I watched that movie.
Poetic.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, you had these intentions. It's like you just walked into a thicker plot than you imagined.
That's a Dexter episode, if I ever heard of one.
How's it going, everybody?
I'm doing great.
Joe Cool. How's the Cotton Creek jungle you're in today, Joe Cool?
Oh my goodness, I'm not in the jungle. Hold on, I don't know if I can show you out the window where I am.
don't know if you can see that.
That's
I don't
green.
know. I got plastic up. You probably can't see it. I'm in a desert, man. I'm not in the jungle. I'm in the
Oh,
desert.
I was thinking Chicago. I'm sorry.
No, I'm in
Welcome to the
Colorado.
jungle.
That's right.
Damn near New Mexico, man. I'm out here. We got a little sprinkle, a great little rainbow. It's beautiful out there, man. I had storms and shit. It's beautiful out there. What about you guys? How you guys doing?
Clear skies.
I told my girl what you just said, Rant, Neuro, whichever one of y'all said that shit. Picking up me is like a hitchhiker who's a serial killer being picked up by another serial killer. You never know what you're gonna get. That's cool.
Just like a lot of people go into situations with a certain intention, but they have no idea what they're approaching.
As they get away with shit a lot, and they assume they're gonna get away with it all the time, or the other victims done laid down. They assume this guy is gonna lay down. It was easy last time. You think it's gonna be easy this time? Yeah.
They, in the assumption, this is their critical error. You know what I mean? And there's a saying that they make you know when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. But at the end of the day, I've made a habit of not being the second ass. You know what I mean? Just letting you assume, making
Let you
yourself
do it
the ass.
alone. Yes.
And then just kind of point that out and be like, ha ha.
There was a little bit of that
Hey,
yesterday.
guys,
Go ahead.
excuse me for interrupting you, but Machine Lies is up there and Jack disappeared. What'd you do with the Machine Lie? Did you eat them?
No, we just took over because of the kind of topic there about he wanted to bring in the stream last night, and yeah, it was interesting how many times because I wasn't on the screen, but they kept talking about the show there, but then I like also Jack's approach, not involve yourself in the drama or try to make yourself amenable to compromise somehow, but yeah, I mean ultimately it's like there has to be some type of accountability after a long time,
Are we talking about Jack's stream?
No, Jack commented on the stream last night.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
You did
I
good
got taken down
yesterday, Jack. I don't want you thinking you did bad yesterday with that all that time. You didn't get triggered and all of that. Jack did good. But you guys finished talking about what you were talking about.
Thank you.
Well, I have a thought, Jack. If you want to say something, I'll yield. But I had talked to you before about something, and I know your wishes, wants, and needs to have are upon you. You have a lot of things you want to do, so you probably focus on it a fair amount of time every day. Would that be fair to say? Okay, and so you probably got some planning and some execution in your mind that's set out and set forth. You may not have it all to just hand us right now, but you have it for you, right? Mm-hmm. Do you remember me? Do you recall me asking you about the SBA?
Yes.
Have you made any attempts to reach out to them?
No.
SPCA, is that the dog people?
Yeah. I was telling them to go bark, basically. No, SBA, the Small Business Administration.
Right.
Okay. And anybody can do this. Okay. The loans that they'll give you, the money that they'll give you, the grants that they have, they're for the people who can't go to the bank and get fucking money. The guys can't market that money because they just can't. But yeah, they want to give you a loan. They want to help you out. Give them an idea.
Don't you need a business if it's a small business loan?
Go buy a fucking business, Joe. Pick a business and tell them to help you.
Scotty B, not for nothing. Like I don't know if y'all were talking about this before or some shit, but that seems kind of left field as fuck, right?
No, and he's angry too.
It's not. It's just looking at the whole situation as a whole right here and saying there's solutions and there's problems. And if we just talk about, well, let's go fucking magic, let's go mystery, and let's go evolve with our shockwave.
Is that a fraudulent slip over there, bro?
No, I'm thinking that there's probably some planning and some execution. Typically, Jack, is it not your wish to move forward with, ending legal secrets, stopping wars, and getting basically our shit together, everybody? That's what it's going to take. You know, you have to get your shit together to stop people from taking advantage of you with their secrets and stupidity and lies. So we got to get our shit together. We, as in, I don't have a fucking frog in my pocket. That's you and me. So you talk about that stuff, and I'm just saying, if you wanted to, you could get money for yourself for Live Without Fear. How
What kind
about
of business
license?
is that, bro?
What the fuck?
What is Jack selling? What's his product? Exactly.
I'm saying you can go out and take a business that's already there. Pick somebody else's fucking dream and take it over.
Yo, you telling this guy to take out a loan, right? For Jack Talcott, Live Without Fear.
Let me
right?
ask you how big a
No.
deal
Let
that is.
me ask you, how's he gonna pay this loan back exactly? And what's he gonna do with this money to make money with it?
Okay, let me ask you, if he starts having problems in the first year and in the second year or the third year with the Small Business Administration, don't you think they have some plans to help you? Because they know you're a small business starting out. Go ask them. Next thing I would say, if you just fuck up after fucking 2, 3, 5 years and you go bankrupt, you got $5 million from them. I don't know how much they'll give you, but probably up to that. Then you just go file bankruptcy. That costs you $1,500, and you start over.
This is the worst advice I'm gonna hear today. But go ahead.
The whole fucking country of rich people are doing it, Joe. What do you want to do? You talk to your friends and ask them how many businesses they've done just the same fucking thing. Go, Jack. I'm listening. I hear you. I yield.
Well, I've already asked Cage. You're getting. I don't know if you saw the interaction with Cage, but you better check where you're at, start learning how to control your impulse to just vomit all over the conversation with your thoughts and your ideas, because your rambling is not serving my purpose. So, brother, please check your interactions, and please, when I dropped the link today, it was really for those who might want to have conversations with Jack instead of at Jack or about Jack. Scott, do you have anything you want to talk to me about? You ask a question and then here I'm doing it. Oh, you.
So what's up, Doc?
Thank you. Tell you what, the topic, growing in faith, growing in trust of the future. It does come down to knowing. We've got to learn how to understand each other. Scott, your idea of going to the Small Business Association, you're right. Believe it or not, if you listen to me, I got a lot of ideas along that direction too. But I'm not chasing money. I know that relationships are my most important goal. So that's what I'm focused on.
You better check yourself, you Eeyore little bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some people trying to build businesses, some people trying to build kingdoms. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, hey, Jack. I'm kind of new here, so can you kind of introduce to me or kind of recap, pretend like I haven't been following you for months or years or whatever, and just kind of tell me what your vision is and what your goals are in the short form without covering all the details.
Thank you. In short form, the conclusion I believe is possible is for wars to end, for reforms to the government and corporate structures to happen. And I think all of that can happen through individual self-development.
Don't forget the transparency part. That's a good part.
Yes, we'll do it through transparency. But the real idea is, if I'm living here today, the likelihood of me speaking, someone involved, that's pretty small. But what I can do is anyone who tunes in, I can encourage self-development, turn towards God, increasing faith, growing more in love and trust, forgiveness. That's kind of where I'm at.
I got a
So
question.
is your focus more on like the spiritual or the political, or are you trying to like marry the two somehow?
Yes, good question. Maybe that's been part of my problem. I confuse the two, but I believe the spiritual path is the way to overcome the political.
Yo, Jack. At the end of the day, right? We really can't come together as humanity until we have love. Do you agree? Now,
Correct.
here's the thing, right? Until a man has a love for the truth and a love for God, how can that man ever love another man? No homo.
It would be challenging, but the truth is love is eternally present. So the man wouldn't need to be convinced to love another man or anything other than.
I'm just saying, how is he even capable if he lacks even the love for truth itself? If he lacks even the love for God? How
was
can
that
that
no
man?
homo? Was that no homo a dig on Diddy?
No, that's it's that how can men, right, actually have love for each other in a non-homosexual way, right?
If they don't love themselves, I
Like,
think is where
wait,
you're
like I
going.
love my dad, right? I love my close homies that I consider brothers.
I
Right?
think
I
platonic
love
is
them,
the word you're looking for.
right?
Platonic love.
And what I'm saying is that's what keeps us together, even through like little bullshit, right?
I
Like
agree.
it will
Yes.
happen. Whereas if
Yes.
it was other people, right, it would be different. But since we
I
have that
dig it.
love, right, it's not different. We can get over these things. And if humanity had that common love, right, with everyone, then we wouldn't have all these problems because we would be able to get past them without it becoming something else. Right.
When
But here's the
Jack is
thing.
done, I want Machine Last and Angelina answer this one after Jack is done. This is a good one.
And here's the thing, right? We can't get to that understanding because the only people I've ever been able to come to that understanding with are people who love God and the truth. And if they don't love God and the truth, we could never ever get to that.
That's interesting. Shut up and let somebody else. That's great, right? It sounds logical as fuck.
But shut up. Is that what you just said, Joe?
Yes,
Humanity
but
can
shut up
never.
before you ruin it. It's perfect.
Humanity can never be united in the lie. You understand? It will always cause division and division and division.
Hey, Rand. Okay, you offered a lot of definitions on love and a lot of things there, but here, what you said, I have no disagreements. What I found, though, is we can move beyond the words, move beyond the limitations of words, and recognize the whole expression of love in its variety of forms in different ways. And so even though there may be those who reject the truth, they don't have a love for the truth, they may even be offended by the truth may even crush them internally.
It does.
But
they run from it.
Yeah, well,
I chase them around. It's a game we play.
But this is where godly people, those who love the truth with love, they can share with love together to help others understand and receive the truth that they've been unwilling. Because to allow people to continue to loop in these insanities of being wrong, just defying the facts, denying, ignoring what's real, it's insufferable. It's inexcusable, really.
I've made it my business to go to war against the lie. It's the only option we
Hold
have
on.
left.
Let me hear those two. Machine Lines was nodding his head for most of that.
Yeah.
You agree with Jack, Machine Lines?
It's about time you start talking.
Well, I said a lot in the beginning, and I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing me talk at this point. You know, it's hours of me talking on this interweb, far more than I'd like to talk. But I've been forced to say certain things. I feel, but I think that ultimately, I think he's right. But eventually, I mean, a society of saints, they wouldn't need any laws, that's to say, an obvious statement. But those who are truly good are not aware of their own goodness, as I like to point out.
I dig it.
So
I
you know,
think
I
his
think it's
question was, can you work with the lousy guys that don't love themselves? I think his question was along them lines.
well, I think Rant took care to a little bit answer that too, because he was kind of saying, well, you have to change them from the inside out. And I think ultimately that is a the ultimate solution is that, you know, people are going to have to transform into good guys before we can actually help them. And that's why, to the truth, we are witnesses and not people who actually can teach people the truth. You know, you can only lead somebody to the truth
Once you
May I
know
and
it.
make
ask
them
you?
see it for themselves.
May I ask you to pause for just a second and just ponder this thought? Is it
Yeah.
not potentially God or a deity that we don't agree on that's causing division and fucking chaos?
I'll get back to that because you seem very, very interested in the answer to that last time. I think that ultimately the different gods on earth are you know, testaments to a grand you know, creator. Otherwise, you know, if there's
Chaos.
multiple gods, yeah, if there's multiple gods, then one of them, as I said earlier, you know, would have to be the all-powerful God, you know, and a village cannot have two chiefs as the master, otherwise one is going to overtake the other in power, you know, in my opinion. So I think that, you know, there may very well be multiple gods, but one has to be all powerful, and all those multiple gods are testament to the one God, obviously, you know, in my opinion, you know, because, you know, I mean, if you look at the world, it's unique. You know, the creator also has to be unique, just as the world is single, unique, one, and you know, I think the creator has to match all these qualities, in my opinion. But you know, it is
Before
what
we
it is.
get too far, Angeline, can a person who knows and loves himself work with the guy who doesn't love himself? And what's up, Jesse? And dude, who was that? Said it much better. I think that was fucking Rand who said. I don't remember no more. Angeline, can you? He's a big smiles. I love you, niggas. I love you too.
Joe
All
Cool, I
right.
just want to correct one thing real quick. You
Okay.
said himself. I never said to love yourself. I said you have to love the truth and God.
Thank
The
you.
love of
He
the
said it
self
better
is
than
the
he.
folly of the devil. All right.
All right. Thank you. He
Hey,
said it
you
better than
guys,
I.
take just a second for me. Jesse, how you doing, buddy?
Good, really good.
Where
Thanks.
can I find a woman like that?
How you
He
doing,
laughing at it.
Angeline?
He been waiting to sing that fucking tune. He been
Right.
waiting.
Welcome. Good to see you both. Yeah,
Good evening, all.
there we go.
I'm quiet, Angeline. At some point, this conversation is going to move on. I was curious, and Jesse, I'm curious. Can you love? I'm sorry, the way he said it, man. Can you work with a person who doesn't know truth and doesn't follow truth? That type of shit. If you do,
What do you mean? Can you work with?
Rant.
What do you mean? What do I mean? Can you work with?
It,
You know what I mean?
He
What do you
probably
need,
didn't hear the
you
question.
people?
He just got here.
No, I
I
just
think
got here.
he
I
needs
didn't hear
some.
anything that happened
Yeah.
to me.
Okay, I can play it back for you real quick. Are you ready? We're done. You get it? Caught up?
Sounds like a great example of people trying to interpret energy and call it all these different things that we're arguing over.
Oh, hey, this is what I've been, one of the descriptions that's been helpful for me. Sorry to bring us, maybe
No,
this
no,
is
no, 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 no. It's the perfect time. Apparently, that wasn't going anywhere. Go ahead.
the description of the analyzer that's within us, right? That's our logical mind that wants all the data and accumulates, and right. It
Yeah,
serves a great purpose,
he does.
but in order to analyze, it must create a separation, right? And be
Yeah,
apart from. So the
yeah,
analyzer imagines our separations between us and from us and the creator, from the infinite.
yeah.
So to overcome that, we need to get out of the pattern of analyzing and
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm sorry, let me interrupt a little bit. The analyzer also sees good things. He just don't get it wrong all the time. He also
Right. Yeah.
analyzes God and your relationship with this guy. He sees why you click with that guy. He sees good shit and bad. Don't you cut them off altogether, right?
I didn't say that.
All right, I thought you was like trying to get rid of that analytical dude. He sucks.
Keep him on a
No,
show.
I am suggesting though, break the habit of letting the analyzer be the controller, be the guide. I mean,
Oh, this is another good one.
let it be the guide rather than the
Who do
limiter.
we give the head to, the heart or the analyzer? That's a good question.
The heart and the spirit side of our mind.
That's the one we get control.
Right
So.
side.
Can I ask a question for the panel?
No.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up, Scott.
Yes.
So,
okay, good.
So, at the end of the day, what would you prefer if you had two options? The comfortable lie or the uncomfortable truth?
Truth has to be the thing for me.
Lie is not an option.
The truth is forefront.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat the purple pill.
Whatever that is.
This, by experience, I'm glad to hear those responses and that's a good question. Sincerely, truth is God. It is what carries us forward. It's what allows us to grow and overcome knowledge. So just because we don't like truth,
who don't like truth? Oh, I'm sorry.
I actually think God is beyond.
Some people don't like truth.
Evil people, Joe. Evil
Yeah.
don't like
well, here.
I believe God is beyond the truth, Jack. I believe He created the truth.
Of course.
Yes.
As a mechanism.
Here. I'm sorry but for an example, I didn't like the truth when I realized my wife was having an affair. I didn't like the truth when I realized I'd been accused of being a criminal. I didn't like the truth when I saw life changing. But the truth, I think what Rant was saying, the truth comes from God. The truth comes from that which is real. And
you caught your wife cheating on you, right? Your wife did not love the truth. She could never love you. And that's why you had what you had.
I know. We were both very confused at the time, and I blamed her for a while. I didn't understand.
At the core of all evil, you'll find a lack of truth and a lack of love.
Yeah.
I think some of the hardest truth to awaken to is awakening to our own unconsciousness, awakening to ourselves, right? And what we're not aware of. That's the hardest one to face because it comes with a whole series of
uncomfortableness.
Feelings. Yeah, and even sorrow and just not knowing that for such a
fear.
long period of time, right? And then having to figure out now what do I do about it?
The problem is magnified also.
Is
With
what?
all of the problem is also magnified though in trying to find yourself with so many things masquerading as the self from within.
Okay.
Them are those personalities.
That is incorrect.
Hey, Joe. To answer your question, there's lots of people that don't like the truth. It's not just people that like obvious lies. There's the people that enjoy delusion.
I dig it.
And delusion's a hell of a drug. So getting those people off of that is
that's why I checked myself when I was like, who doesn't like it? I checked myself. I thought people are very comfortable living them bullshit delusions. I better shut the fuck up.
Also, if you've never met humans, I'll introduce you
to a couple
because there's a lot of them out there, dude.
And for people that have gone and they swallowed the Kool-Aid and they've poisoned themselves, or even worse, their children, it's so hard for them
to get out.
To admit that they fucked up, and it's easier for them to just go along to get along than to admit that they actually were the ones who willfully agreed to their children being poisoned.
And
tell them what it's called, Joe Cool. Tell them the word.
Something else. I'll lose. I said, and
you know the word.
You have those who have influence over others, and when you have a big crowd of motherfuckers, and you realize you were wrong, you definitely know. Oh, fuck, I gotta tell 1,000 or thousands of people that I was wrong. You'll just suck it up and live that bogus philosophy in life.
So how many pastors and preachers live like that? politicians, pastors, preachers, all kinds of people that are, telling people a bunch of bullshit.
Peddling hopamine.
Hopamine, baby.
Well,
I thought it was copium. I thought that was the main drug.
Copium, we'll write that one down too.
Copium, you know what I mean? And then you got hopamine.
Hey, I actually do have hope and faith that the truth will be revealed. I know there's scripture about that. There's words about that which is hidden will not be, it'll only be temporary. The truth will come forth. We are this time. I am becoming more and more and more confident. I don't know how it's going to happen or exactly what it's going to look like, but I believe we are the return. The return of the Christ.
I dig it, Jack. He say, don't believe when there's people say, he's over there, Don't believe it. He's in you.
Amen.
I think of that all the time.
Do you smoke any ganja?
I do.
You do? Do you smoke often?
No, he wouldn't say I do if he did.
I do daily. I smoke daily. Yes.
Okay.
Like that.
I'm trying to figure out connections here because I'm gonna be honest. I've noticed that there's a correlation. I'm finding a correlation with how deep people are in the truth correlates with how much they smoke furiously.
Is that true? Somebody help me. Is that true?
There is some correlation, and there's. I have theories behind the fact.
Talcott, I think that's true.
Yo, the truth hurts, bro. I'm telling you, and you need some medicine to make it not hurt so bad. All right, every day to live in it. All right.
The medicine, the plant, the medicine, and the shrooms, stuff like that. It helps break the connections.
Opens the mind and
between our thought patterns, and then we can move beyond what this society is conditioned.
Programmable.
I like it, baby. It breaks the conditioning. Yes.
I've been reading a lot of studies on mushrooms on how, we make pathways in the brain that get really ingrained in there, and when you do a guided mushrooms, it can it's kind of like putting a fresh layer of snow over all the trails.
It's called being programmed.
I'll keep talking about mushrooms. Damn it, I'm finna take some.
Did you hear about Michael Bublé at the NHL awards? Apparently, someone gave him. They said it was a microdose, and they gave him a real dose, and he was out in front of everybody, and going off. And he said, all these years I built up my career, and I ruined it in one weekend because he got all fucked up on mushrooms. Apparently, this just happened.
Look, mushrooms is not like it's not like weed. You can't just recklessly eat mushrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, I'm literally recklessly eating mushrooms right now.
It's not recommended. I mean, you do what you do. I've done it. I've been reckless. You'll learn.
Just don't operate any heavy machinery or anything.
I'm editing tonight.
Dude, where we used to go get our mushrooms years ago, my buddy lived right on the fucking cow field. So he actually became the guy that would eat them right out of the cow shit. It was unfucking believable. He could
if you eat them every day, they won't even hit you, bro. If you,
he became that way, and now he's like a Pentecostal preacher or some shit.
Yeah, so what's good about mushrooms is if you do damage to your brain, they give you the ability to repair neural connections. You don't get a lot of hangovers, but it's not really it's something that you need to use once in a while. But if you do that shit every day, you're gonna fry your shit.
I should invite that guy on this panel sometime because he's a very interesting and deep.
I got a buddy who microdoses now with the mushrooms or acid. He'll interchange, but he's military and he had PTSD really bad. We couldn't even barbecue around him because all he smelled was burning bodies. And since he started that shit, I don't know, last time it was warm, he was over here making steaks and shit. He's the guy who cooks the steaks and shit now. And he attributes it all to that microdosing shit. He'd only be high or no shit like that, but he takes it and he says that's what got him back. He's sociable. He's be mean and distant and standoffish. Now he's funny and sociable and shit. He just want to play like a little kid all the time.
I mean, you got to understand when you're dealing with mushrooms, you're dealing with an entity that is way older than you, and you just don't realize the extent of this entity. You know what I mean? The largest organisms in the earth are mycological networks. You know what I mean? Taking over somewhere in I think the southern east of America.
Network.
So
root network.
at the end of the day, you are essentially dealing with an entity when you deal with these mushrooms. You're not experiencing your own chemicals like a normal drug. When you take magic mushrooms, you're actually experiencing the psilocybin converting into psilocin in the liver, which goes into the blood-brain barrier and is processed as serotonin. The experience of the mushrooms, you are experiencing the literal mushroom, and that's what separates it from most drugs.
You're actually poisoning yourself.
No, it's not poison at all. That's incorrect.
Well, hold on, Rant. If you were to pick a mushroom somewhere near aluminum within like 5 feet.
No. Get out of here with.
I'm going to take a break from the conversation.
Do you do mushrooms, Jack?
I do. Go ahead, say it, Jack.
I have in the past, and I trust. I don't know. I've heard it said psychedelics, stuff like that, plant medicine will come into your life when it's appropriate, and I would enjoy it, but it's not easily accessible for me, so it's not something I deal with.
Well, we're gonna smoke together, bro. Me and you today. Go get one of them joints, man. Me and you right now.
Yeah. Actually, the topic I suppose in a roundabout way, the medicinal part of healing, which is what really I think could be developed there in the conversation. The medicinal part does bring the healing, and that's where we were going. Healing brings us faith, restores our faith. But
yeah, I feel like I'm high already. I don't know. That could be a weed.
So you want to go back to growing faith? Is that what you're
I'd like to get back to growing faith.
Did you kick me out, Jack?
Yes.
What did I do?
I think he was getting burned out on the drugs topic.
I mean, y'all brought it up. Joe Cool's eating them. What are you talking about?
You're right. You're not reading the room.
What do you mean, read the room? Break it down for me, because maybe it's just flying right over my head. All right.
Yeah, I'll give it to you, Rand.
Here. Actually, I'll point it out. Sorry, there is a distinction. I know many of these panels, that is what they offer is come and share you, and just the people who join are the content. Admittedly, and not in an egoic way, I am doing these with the hopes to host conversations where we can share topics that allow, hopefully, me to shine, that people tune in because they're really getting value from me, not hit and miss.
I thank you for saying that outright, Jack, because I've been wondering. I'm like, Joe, you have no idea a concept about that. When you go into other people's room, they're running a show, they have so and so. And I know Paul gets on me. He's like, Joe, the object here is to set them up so I can knock them down. Nigga, it ain't about you. And around here, I get loose with the conversation. I just be happy to see all you niggas, all you cats is equal to me. And I totally forget, that some shit. I just be talking and chatting. I know I'm the worst.
You bring fun, Joe. You do. You frustrate me, though. You get caught up in the side conversations. You're like, shut up, Jack.
I'll talk about anything.
I'm talking here. Like, all right, man. So, I don't know.
What are some of the biggest things you've done, Jack, to grow your faith in your life? What are some of the biggest things that have come up in your world that have grown your faith?
Thank you. I was considering that recently, and I think my story is like many others who found faith. It's just you make it through things you think you can't. You make it through the impossible, and you look back and you're like, well, there was something there.
Dope answer.
Well,
was that what you wanted to know, Angeline? Or were you talking about, was there practices that he does to grow his faith? Or did he answer your question?
It's whatever his answer is.
Thank you. There is that part too. And honestly, what I found, and I tried, and I started bringing this up earlier, so it's a great point. Faith. We know we have faith, like in someone we love, when we're praising him, we're proud to praise, right? That relationship, that knowing. So faith, we show our faith through praise, through encouragement. And through praise and encouragement, that's real easy to find when we have appreciation. So if we're going to have faith, let's start with appreciation for every moment, every breath, every
You
whatever.
made me think, Jack. I'm on a new kick. You can't accept praise. I'm on it for me for right now, but I'm sure I'll be putting it out there. You can't accept praise if you're not willing to accept criticism. It just should not be done. You perhaps should not read too much into either of them. But right there, I was thinking, everybody loves to praise shit. Maybe you should cut that out. Maybe we should cut that out. I wasn't talking about you. We need to not love to fucking praise shit, because if I suck up and believe all this fucking praise, then when a nigga criticize me, I got to believe that nonsense too. That makes me weak.
So, Jack, can I inquire to what your religion is, or would that derail your thought?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
My religion is love.
So like, do you have a church or like a holy book or anything like that, or is it just according to your thoughts that day?
There's many.
You're a fan of the Bible, right?
Yes, I am a fan of the Bible, but I don't. It's not my be all end all. That's the place to go.
So you don't subscribe to Christianity or Judaism?
I hope to. Well, there's parts of it. There's parts of everything that I've embraced, honestly, primarily from Buddhism, my learning and my understandings of Buddhism and Christianity. Those have been the greatest influences. I've looked into the others, but not as deeply.
So you're not a fan of like Hinduism or Taoism? And
Oh, yes. No, yes.
Any Eastern philosophy is pretty cold, yeah.
Yes. What is that, Scott?
Yeah, we can't read that shit, Scott.
Praise.
Oh, praise.
It's a word game out here. It's a word game. Do we really know what the fuck we're saying when we say it?
The reason why I asked about your views on Hinduism, since you said you are a fan of Buddhism, I would assume that you're familiar with Buddha's view of Hinduism.
I'm not certain.
We're gonna kind of get into that a little bit on my show. I'm gonna give a little presentation, history of Buddhism. If anybody's interested,
Spoilers.
Sorry,
Machine. I didn't know I was doing that.
No, it's okay. Buddha had a poor view of Hinduism. He thought you should try to break the cycle of reincarnation. But yeah, go ahead, iPhi. I think you know about it.
Oh, I was gonna go with the angle that he was more like criticizing it than had a poor view of it. I think he had a pretty good view of it, since he was kind of like born and raised into it, and so I think he was trying to like liberate himself from the bonds of Hinduism.
I would agree with that.
Well, reincarnation is partly a goal of Hinduism. But since Buddha said you should try to break the cycle of reincarnation, I don't think I don't think it flows very well.
Yeah, I remember reading a lot about that now that y'all brought it up.
When you're saying Buddha, are you meaning Siddhartha?
Yeah, the Buddha. So my understanding of his exchange was that he wasn't like trying to like revise it or anything. He was pretty much just saying like don't even follow it, because it's just such
it's kind of the same way that a Gnostic would have of a Christian, It's kind of
But I also found it weird that like Buddhism became a religion, because I don't think Buddha ever even claimed deity.
Well, hold on, iPhi. Excuse me, iPhi. This is the Jack Talcott show, and everything has to be about Jack Talcott. So, I just wanted to direct this back to Jack Talcott.
That's okay. He can chime in.
No. Listen. This is. Excuse me. This is the Jack Talcott show, sir. I need to direct this back to the host.
You know where you are.
I've been thinking about it, Jack, and you're completely right. But
didn't take long. You adapt fast.
I have some constructive criticism directly for the Jack Talcott show. I think it would be better, right, if instead of putting people backstage when they don't read the room, you can get a little clip of yourself, right? And put it up on the screen, like to break up the conversation. And it could be you saying, read the room, right? I don't know if you ever saw like
yourself. People do that.
other
big
shows.
screen
Other
who they
shows
want to
do
talk.
this, you know? Yeah, but you could have a you.
When you shut up, you'll understand.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. But a read the room one instead of putting people
Just
back.
because you have a mouth doesn't mean you have to fucking use it.
Yeah, those were nice.
Works
you should
good.
come up with a better one.
Read the room would be a good addition. You're right.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That was a
Your
Mimsy
meaning
Lim
list.
suggestion, actually.
Was it? Thank you.
Yeah, it came from the shadows.
Thank you.
The
So
shadows.
do you
dark
plan
abyss.
on integrating these religious views into your political views at some point? I'm still not seeing the connection here.
Ruh-roh.
They have. In my with me, I've united. I've overcome. There's a unity with all the religions, the politics, the states, all of that. It's just imagined. It's nonsense. We can overcome it.
Can I switch gears real quick on you? Putting religion aside for now, purely speaking of politics, can you kind of break down your view of politics for me real quick?
He's a big Trump fan, bro. He'll tell you.
Are we already done with the topic of faith?
I mean, we can go back.
No,
I don't want to derail.
I'll put it into very easy terms for you, iPhi, and then we could move on to faith.
That's fine.
It's basically a version of anarcho-syndicalism.
Anyway. Thank you for simplifying that. What the fuck, anarcho-syndicalism? What the
for
fuck?
all of us laymen.
We can explore
I'm
that.
going to beat you with your own dictionary.
Right.
So no government,
Look it
no
up, guys.
state, and some sort of like community, co-op community.
Exactly.
Kind of like Jack talking about.
Voluntarism.
Oh, is there government in your shit, Jack? In the end?
Yes.
There would be administration, but not governance.
I think it'd be a government by a different name, but I understand where you're going.
And what sort of economy would you
resource-based? It's a resource-based economy, friend. But the thing about faith is, I think practically speaking, because people have a problem with faith in general, I think it's important to tie faith to the concept of intuition. That gets people into it, because I think faith and intuition are carefully linked concepts, and I think to quote Martin Luther King, he said faith is seeing the next step before you take the next step on the staircase, to paraphrase him, I think you don't guess that you're going to take another step. You just know that it's going to be there. You trust that it's going to be there. And that kind of faith is kind of acting without thinking and knowing without learning. You know what I mean?
Acting without
Not
having
the last
all the
part.
answers.
Oh, knowing without learning. Okay.
So many of us build faith, like so many of us talk about having faith from traumas, but how many of us have practiced building faith from while we're in a good place by like being in high vibration and then getting something and taking action on it without knowing the fullness behind what you're getting and building your faith that way? Like, how many people do that?
I'm not sure I even
that's
understood
really
the
fun way to
faith.
build faith.
The
You
faith
can't
by
have
trauma
true
stuff.
faith.
Let me
You can't
understand
have
her
true
first.
faith without
Or
truth.
not.
Hold on.
You can't have true faith without truth. You
Right.
can't have faith without knowledge, because if you don't know, how can you have faith?
That's what faith is not knowing. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's blind faith. It's different.
Agents of chaos.
What were you going to say, Joe?
When you started your thing out, you say people recognize something through trauma. That's how they talk about it. No faith through trauma. I'm not sure I even understand that first line.
Well,
Do people get
sometimes
faith through trauma?
Sometimes when you're in life and death, something shows up that you can't
And that's
explain,
when-
and it helps to
and
kind of.
And you be like, I got faith because
like
I go
something
through
is
trauma.
out there, something's bigger than me. Some people
Comes
kind
and
of
helps
start
you
to
at a time
have
of trauma.
awakening like that. Yeah.
I think there's a general misunderstanding of faith, Jack. I want to bring it back to Jack Talcott real quick.
Well, I was actually
Really?
trying to build on what she was saying.
Yes, I liked the rest of what she was saying. Yeah.
I'm just trying to read the room, and I think we should bring it back to Talcott at this moment.
If you deal, if I would, thank you. I've got it. just fine. Thank you. Golly jeez, man. So
your
I think
suggestion
here with what Angeline was saying, if I heard you right, what people most often find the faith or develop, they pay attention to their faith in the darkness, in the darkest times when they're hurt. But I think what you were saying is remind yourself of the faith when things are good and build on that and press into the goodness. Is that what you were offering? Kind of?
Like, I have an example. Like, we used to do something called treasure hunts where people would get together and, like, I don't know, we'd whatever, we'd all be feeling good from music and worship and whatever. This is back in church days, but I've done this outside of church as well. And we'd all just write down things that would pop in our heads that didn't make sense and separate from each other, and then bring it together, and it would make a picture
and
of
find
something that comes together.
Interesting.
And so we'd
that
all
works.
jump in vehicles and like kind of see if we find all these clues and stuff that we got on these papers, and it would almost lead us to a person every time. And then it was so much fun because we could take these papers, maybe we got like blue jeans with gemstones on them, or red shirt that says something, or a big M,
Sound
or
like
whatever
fun.
everyone was getting, and we'd go to this person and be like, look, we just want to show you all these random things that we all got that led us to you, because obviously God just wanted us to obviously have an encounter with you today, and we don't know why. This is following the next step, right? It's like,
That
we
would
don't know
blow
what's
my
next,
mind
right?
if
You
motherfuckers
go,
walked up to
go,
me
and
with
then exactly, right? And then you're like, well, you know, if anything, the message is, here, this is proof how much God loves you. He brought us here. Is there anything we can like do for you, pray for you, whatever? Or sometimes as soon as you take that next step, you get more. You take a next step, you get more, right? And you just keep following those steps, and more gets revealed to you as you go. That's kind of building faith from a good place.
Can I want to jump in there with that, because that's in lines with what Machine Lies was saying too. I think long ago I heard and started thinking about the idea of intuition, and I know we all have it, and so I started pressing in. I wanted to try and understand my intuition better, and the way to understand your intuition is it's in the silence, it's in the feelings, communicating with your inner being, yourself. And intuition and faith, those two are absolute. They go together. It's the divine. This is the divine spirit. It's the way we were created. It's so amazing. It's so mystical, so perfect. Someone asked the question, why do I believe in the perfection of God? Because holy shit, how does this work, man? Like breath and sunlight becomes energy, and plants become me. And it's like, holy cows, dude. Holy cows. See, this is why they criminalize pot, because people will smoke pot and they'll think about, holy shit, man, this life's a trip. We don't need to be monkey slaves putting on a suit to go tell people what to do or be told what to do. This is nonsense. I think it's time for the monkeys to wake up.
He's so right. He's so right.
Do you have faith in your intuition, Jack?
I do.
Someone brought up blind faith. Is that a problem?
No, it's just different from faith.
Blind faith sounds shitty to me.
That used to scare the shit out of me. I refused it. I said, it's not possible. You can't have blind faith. God said, bullshit.
That's kid shit, right? That's insanity, right? Would somebody give me an argument for blind faith?
Am I allowed by any chance to take the topic off of Jack Talcott for like 30 seconds to just explain the blind faith thing?
Please do.
Cool. All right. So I think that the reason why people get confused when it comes to faith and blind faith is because they misunderstand why other people have faith and what faith means to that person.
Okay.
Right. And so basically, I have faith in God because God has revealed himself to me in his own way. Right.
So that's not blind.
Someone might believe that I have faith in God because I can't prove it and I just believe it. That's not true. that would be blind faith. If God had never revealed himself to me and I just believed it because I read it in the book, but I can't prove he exists, that's blind faith.
Wait, you gave me an example of what someone else thinks is blind faith. Does blind faith
I'm giving
really
you just
exist?
situational examples.
I get it, but does blind faith really exist? Because in your example,
Absolutely,
blind faith was not really a thing. Can you give me an example of a motherfucker using blind faith? Because yours, you had reason to have faith.
Yeah, I mean, you got people that believe in, like, I got a friend who's like, I believe in the Norse gods. And it's like, why do you believe in it? Because I like it. It's cool.
Bullshit. I
Right.
know. He's got a reason. He just ain't told you.
I'm just saying, like, this is what this guy believes, right? You know what I mean?
Same way you believe in your God.
Right. So
It's no different. This shit is not
you want to
blind.
know? You want to know an example of blind faith, right?
I do.
There's people that go up to the tops of cliffs, and they know that this is a common spot where people jump off the cliff all the time, right? And they know that they could jump in there, and they're probably not going to hit the bottom, right? That's faith.
Hey, Joe.
They still might hit the bottom. Now, you got people who go to random cliffs that they don't know anything about and just jump in, and they might smack the bottom. That's blind faith.
Hey,
and then you also got experts.
Here, hold on.
Oh, I'll wait until Rant's done. Go ahead.
Good. No. Okay.
Jack wanted to chime in on that.
Hey, Joe, I got an example of blind faith. So,
Jack wanted to jump in there before you.
No, he was just opening it up for dude.
Doing it for.
If you're walking down the street and you walk up to a guy and you say, "Do you believe in Jesus?" and he says, "Yeah, I believe in Jesus." What is Jesus? That's blind faith.
That's confusing. Who said that?
Thomas is the story of blind faith.
It means you're believing in something that you don't even know what you're talking about.
That guy said, faith. "What is Jesus?" Yes, I believe in it. What is Jesus?
Like he doesn't even know what a Jesus is, but he makes the statement, "I believe in Jesus." That's blind faith.
Yeah, I got an ex-girlfriend.
Well, it could also be just ignorance as well, and I see that a lot. People claim to believe in things that they really can't explain or don't understand. And maybe that's faith, but
what about people say you sneeze and someone says what do they say? Bless you. Thank you. I was about to say gesundheit. How old am I? People say bless you. Is that blind faith? They don't know why the fuck they're doing that shit, right?
Well, you can understand the general concept of like wishing someone good health without believing in religion. So that's not exactly
all right.
Again, it would be like making the statement you believe in Jesus, but you don't know what Jesus is.
All right. Thank you. Angeline, what were you saying?
Sometimes we experience things or just have a knowing that we don't have words for yet. That in a way can be faith too. It's not blind in a way because we know something, we just don't know how to describe it or express it yet, right?
Yeah,
then that is not blind faith.
She said,
you get what I'm saying?
I don't actually believe in blind faith, but we can believe in what we can't see in a way. So maybe there's a separation between believing in what we can't yet see or understand yet, and just blindly believing something because somebody else said so.
We can't just assume
that,
like.
Doesn't the scripture say walk by faith, not by sight? It doesn't say blind faith, right?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you can't assume that I'm telling you that your faith is blind at that time. Like even just because I mentioned blind faith, I'm not targeting every person on this panel and saying your faith is blind faith. That's where people get crazy and they get defensive. I'm just saying there is a difference.
It's
by
mislabeling.
mislabeling.
It's usually arguments with atheists and theists is where that comes up.
I hear you.
By the way, I'll share my 2 cents. My definition of faith is the evidence of things unseen. So what that means is even though I didn't see something with my own eyes, I can still believe in something. So in the scientific sense, I've never seen like an atom split. But I believe it's true. I believe it's real because it's evidence that I haven't seen with my own eyes. Likewise, in religion, I believe that Jesus performed miracles, even though I wasn't there to witness them myself. And so I can have faith in Jesus without having to witness him personally myself.
So what does that do for you?
Perform miracles, and then you have to have faith in whatever is doing that, right? Because I've seen miracles and it wasn't me and it wasn't whoever's doing it or whatever, miracles happen, and you just have to have faith that there's something bigger than you that's
I'm
going
not
to
so
move through
sure
Here's
her.
the thing.
miracles happen,
If he
Angela.
didn't do the miracles, does it matter to you and your faith? That's the thing. Even if he didn't do the miracles, even if you prove the miracles never happened, does that
Can
matter?
somebody tell me a miracle right quick? Because I'm not sure what those things are.
Walking on water.
I'm not so
Healing,
sure.
instant
Can we
healing by
have anything
People
I
love
can
people
relate
love the
to
Harry
more?
Potter fucking fantasy parts of the Bible, but they don't love the true message because the fantasy's
Yeah.
been put
How
there to
about
distract
something
you.
Miracle healings. There's miracles all around. Miracles
Where?
every
Where?
day.
Joe, I won't tell you a miracle. I'll tell you something that's probably akin to it because it had that effect on our family. You follow me? And when my grandparents, which they're from near Chicago, Kankakee, they were down here in '96, right after John Benet Ramsey was murdered. They were murdered right by Disney.
Your grandparents?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The 2 days after, I think, that
Excuse
happened.
me, what do your Disney stories have to do with Jack Talcott?
Listen to me. It's about miracles. If you want to know something that's just out
Well,
of the fucking blue, is it possible, or is there a connection? Is there an Akashic
I want to
record?
know
Is
what it
somebody
has to do with the
tapping in?
Talcott stream.
Oh, Rand,
Okay?
shut the fuck up.
We're
Okay,
gonna have to
moving right
direct this
along.
back to Jack Talcott.
We will
Unfortunately,
in just a minute. We will
at
in
this
just
point
a
in
moment.
time.
Jack, I'm coming right back to you, buddy. I'll
I
be
do
there.
apologize to you, Scotty. Sorry you can't get to the end of your Disney
Oh,
story with your grandpa.
yeah, let him
Jack
finish.
Talcott.
So
All
it
right.
can be done, please.
So it'll be done. The
They were murdered the day after,
the
shortly
day
after
or,
John
day or
Murray.
two after, we're at my parents' house. We've now found out that they don't know. They're calling it potentially murder suicide, but the police haven't figured it out yet. My cousin, second cousin, actually, my mom's first cousin, works for Greta Hines. Now, if you look that name up, you'll find out she's a famous psychic. Greta Hines got on the phone with my mother, and this woman started having a reading over the phone with my mother. And Greta was near death at the time. Her experience with my mom on the phone, evidently from the other caregiver on the other end of the phone. My aunt was, or my cousin wasn't there. But the caregiver that was there that put it all together took her off the phone, said that she was getting ill, physically ill, having, I believe, lived through what my grandmother had, simply because she told us shit we couldn't have possibly known.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. It's about Talcott, okay?
Until we got into the trial 2 years later, we didn't have any chance or any way of confirming what she had said. But when we got there, we knew there was already, the police didn't know there was a killer.
Nobody gives a fuck about your story.
I
having
know,
a hard
Ed.
time
You're about
tuning
as
it out
dumb as
for
a
this
truckload
long.
of bananas,
Can we get
man. So
back
you
to
should flip
Talcott?
out.
You've said enough words, all right? Sit down for a minute. We'll let you talk in another 30 minutes.
Hey,
Talcott.
Explain how she knew this stuff. Explain how she was
No,
able
no. You didn't mention one thing. That was a Vegas shit story. Sorry, Vegas.
Oh, I
excuse me.
could tell you
That was a
tons of
Vegas
stuff.
stuff. You just said there was so much stuff. When we went to court, there was more stuff. You didn't explain a thing.
No,
Tell me how we
what
knew
she
what
told-
stuff.
I think I lost 2 points of IQ. I have
She
a lot,
told
so
us-
it's okay,
oh,
Scotty.
my God.
But if
there
I
was
have to
about-
listen to you for another 5 minutes, bro.
And at
No,
some
that's
point,
all
we
right.
got to welcome OTW. You guys wrap this shit up.
I'm done.
So I don't think you
OTW?
should always associate faith with miracles either, because you can have faith in someone's authority or knowledge. And so one of the tests that Jesus gave to the Roman soldier was to tell him that his servant would be healed. And the servant, the soldier responded to him, "I don't even have to check because I know he's already been healed because you said so." And Jesus said, "See, now you have more faith than all of Jerusalem." And so he's
If
talking
we
about
could-
how they lacked
I
faith.
remember the story. If we could take Jesus out of the miracle thing
It's
for a
'cause
while,
he knew
because
that he had the
Jesus,
truth,
I'm sorry,
Donnie.
a motherfucker was talking already. Because Jesus is so old and so huge. It's like talking about Thor. Those stories will have been blown up. And if we can give me something even more current, I'll be more happy. Because to me, miracles seem
Buddha
to all
recent
have a
enough for you,
reason
or
and a
like
shit
who is
behind it.
valid?
It's because he knew that he had the truth. That's why the Roman soldier, okay, believed him, and that was the fate. He knew that he was telling the truth.
I understood the story. I just wanted something more current. I don't want to use Jesus in
People
there
be missing
because
the point, though. They'd be thinking,
maybe
oh, well, this proves it's blind faith. No, it doesn't.
Who's
It
a
proves
better
that the
example of
Roman soldiers
faith?
saw
What
what
about
happened.
Miracle on
Back
34th
to
Street?
Talcott.
It's a little hard to go there, Joe, but like I did grow up in a world where there was a lot of miracles, and
tell me one.
like nowadays miracles, like people being healed instantly on the spot. Broken wrist was prayed for at a buffet with this group we were with, and
Yeah.
they went to get their x-ray the next day and the break was no longer there. There's like just things like that, like that.
Yeah,
It
that would be a miracle by my eyes, and I'm sure there'd be some science to it. I don't even
No
want to
miracle.
believe that
That
one.
would
I
just
wasn't
denote
there.
that we're in a simulation. No
Yeah, I
miracle
think
there.
it's yeah, I think it's interesting how Jesus says to that one woman that that your faith has healed you, you know, and I think that that's really what it is. And then after he heals people, he's immediately like, don't tell anybody I healed
That
anybody.
I did it. Don't give me the
Yeah,
credit. Yeah, my old
exactly.
man
And
did.
yeah, and that's the thing is that an action whose reward and end is contained in the act itself. You know, that's an action committed
Yes,
with faith. You know what I mean? A
yes,
non-utilitarian act, if you will. You know,
yes. I
where it's
take it.
just
I
like,
like it. I like
And
it.
you know
So
what I
the
also,
mean?
yeah,
faith in the Word of God is what
think
is
How
about
about
healed.
how about an irrefutable miracle that nobody can dispute?
Give me
Just
one
the
of
fact
those.
that we are all here and that we exist.
Doesn't sound like much of a miracle. Life
boom.
seems to find a way. If you
Oh,
fucking
come on,
farted on
man.
another planet, life would begin.
Dude,
Life
And
seems
that's
to
relax,
a
exist
man.
no
miracle.
matter what.
Just
It's
Stop
the
not a
taking
fact
that
that we
miracle.
for
It
can
sounds
all
granted.
logical.
be
It's
here.
not. It's a miracle.
You're
Don't
entitled to your opinion. I
don't
get you. Don't
overlook it.
make me believe it.
Miracle.
Hey,
But
y'all shut
listen,
up and
life
listen
is
to a true
everywhere. It
miracle.
seems life is fucking everywhere. Life will find a fucking way. We find a rock. I don't know how many years old. Break it open. Shit been buried and dead and buried for 1,000 years, and it'll come back to life.
So, Jack Talcott, what miracles have you experienced in life?
Hey, today I've experienced a miracle. Jack
Shut
hasn't
the fuck up, Scotty. I'm trying to hear Jack Talcott's miracles.
he hasn't
There's a
thrown you
miracle
out
right
either.
there.
You're a
Scott,
fucking miracle.
Scotty, hello? Do you hear me? Quiet.
Listen, beat me up, you dumb fuck.
Scotty, be quiet.
What's up, Flo? If you're still up here,
I'm trying to hear Jack's miracles.
Actually, I was going to give you and Scott.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Rant? I don't even know you. You just got
Well,
a big
Scott,
goddamn mouth.
Hey, Scott, on this rant, both of you
You
guys
attacked me
have
twice. So
irritated
fucking
me.
what is that about?
Well, you're not paying attention.
I'm
He's
gonna attack
actually
him back. He
speaking up
can
for
shit
me.
on himself.
Look,
He's
I just want to get Scotty to be quiet
fuck up,
instead of to
asshole.
be live.
Jack, continue.
I've been trying.
So what do you have, Scotty?
What do you need, you punk?
Scotty, what do you have for us? Provide some value to the stream, please. I've seen nothing but nonsensical, sweet little nothings and backstories that had nothing to do with Jack Talcott. And as you can see, this is the Jack Talcott show where everything is about Jack Talcott. Scotty,
Yes. Yeah.
what don't you understand about the fucking show? You
That's
didn't
all-
read the room.
You're a genius. That's all you got.
Hey,
That's it.
hold on. All right. Thank you.
That was
Thank
pretty
you.
solid, Scott,
So-
honestly.
Let's come back to
I would like to welcome Glow State to the panel of Jack Talcott. Back to Jack
Hey,
Talcott.
can't you
Hey,
shut
it's
up?
Rant Panel AIDS.
Rand cracks me up. When he and I get along, we're gonna have some fun together.
Like an enema.
I think we are getting along.
Yeah,
Glow State, that
like,
shake weight looks like an AK-47.
Did
You need to
you
fix it.
see my last thumbnail? It's pretty good.
No, I have not seen your last thumbnail.
I don't remember.
What's the only thing gayer
Have
than a
you
musical
seen
about
your
AIDS?
penis lately?
What's the only thing gayer than a musical about AIDS?
The only thing gayer than a musical about AIDS? Well, that sounds pretty offensive to the gay and AIDS community, okay?
Might be.
But I mean, since you belong to both of them, you
actually,
can
I
say
think had
that,
a
right?
great example. I know that you want attention, Rant, but I'm tired of paying attention to you.
I'm just saying, since you belong to the gay and AIDS community, you can say that. It's like when black people say the N-word, right?
Hey, actually, guys, I think it's time to wrap up.
Well, it's your fault this time.
Back to Talcott, everybody.
No, we're coming up 2.5 hours. That's a pretty reasonable, good chunk for. I consider the consumers, the people who may be tuning in and trying to catch some of the conversations.
Thanks for having me on and letting me know your views, dude. I appreciate it.
Jack, Glow State just got here. You didn't even let him shill anything. You didn't let anybody shill anything.
I will. Everyone's welcome to shill. I don't care.
The only thing we got was Scotty shilling a story about Grandma predicted something at Disneyland. I don't even know.
Rand not reading the room.
Jack, you got any place to be? Flo, how you doing tonight, bro?
Hey, I'm good. You?
Hanging in there.
Hey, Jack, why don't you hop on over to Flow and Machine Lies, and we can build some stuff together. Sound fun?
I'm going to go on probably around 10. I'm going
Flow
to
State, excuse me. This is the Jack Talcott show. We don't care about your show, okay? No. You just came here to fucking shill.
Let him shill. Let him grift, and then he'll get out of here.
I've already shilled. That's all I got.
All right, go back to playing with your shake.
Rance got AIDS. Rance is panel AIDS.
No,
I'm shake weight, man.
He's the worst fucking panel participant I think
awesome.
ever.
I like Rant.
I play with a shake weight.
There's been worse
from New York.
There's worse.
Where's your wife at, Flow State? Why you play with that shake weight so much instead of your wife?
All right.
Just to be honest, Rant chews the bone.
I love you guys. Thank you very much for joining. And I think this has been the more peaceful ones here.
It's a good try, man.
We made the cut. We made the Talcott.
Yeah. Hey, welcome.
I tried to throw Joe Cool a bone when I gave him a scientific example of faith, but he still wasn't happy with that, so I went back to Jesus. So I don't know how to impress him.
I don't know. Hey, I do feel like I want to be done by the 2.5 hour mark. We're coming up on that in a few minutes, so I'll let you guys. Anything final? Growing faith. That was the topic. What has helped you grow your faith? Anyone?
I'd love to talk about like what I've learned, because one thing once you catch on to this, that like source, God, love, that life-giving energy, it always wants to reveal itself. And it's always looking for a way to help others allow it into them more and more, so that they can be more and more alive and more vessels for that life-giving energy. So what I've learned is that when you go out there with love, right, and you have that faith that when you're praying for someone, or I say prayer because I don't know what other word to use, but I'm not religious or Christian or anything, but when you go to someone led by faith and you know that Source loves them, and you can be a conduit for that love, and you just try to open yourself to that, you start to gain faith that Source is going to back you up and show up for that person through your faith. And then you gain more and more faith as you go. And when you really know you're loved, and that Source loves you and Source loves everybody else, I mean, you go out, you take that risk more, and it builds that faith more, right? Like, and that's the only real way to do it. Like, to build a faith that heals like Jesus did or whatever, it takes risk. It takes finding out. It takes making mistakes. It takes making lots of mistakes. And I mean, I've gotten it wrong lots of times when I was practicing, but then you start to like get a little less nervous, and it flows a little better, and things come a little better because you're not like as tense and whatever, and stuff starts to show up. It takes practice, and And yeah, and you start to learn that love wants to be known, wants to be revealed, wants to show up, wants to heal people, wants people to have revelations. And if you're a conduit, it'll come.
That's beautiful.
That's what I believe. I don't have the results around me, you know. According to the worldly ways, it appears I'm opposite. It appears
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, yeah,
right.
you know, let's get some of that going for sure.
All you need is love.
It does start. I know this is true, that the love, we are here to just receive, resonate.
But it's how she said it. She said,
Right.
you know, you got to find it on your inside. You can't, you know, once you, you know, have it inside, then it'll come to you. You know, so yeah, that's what it is. It's like, you know, we're looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for it outside of ourselves. But yeah, bless them. Yeah, go on, Brother Jack.
I found my love. I'm hoping to find others willing to receive it, but we're all on these paths to discover the love who we are. And once we discover the love who we're complete without any others. When you know you are the love that is the present moment, place and time, you are the expression of love that God has brought forth. If you can have that realization, the reason you are today, the topic of miracles, it's a miracle I'm alive, sincerely. And I would bet many of you could offer that same brief testimony after the life you've lived. It's a miracle you're here, right? So to me, what I accepted is the probability. The creator, the source, the expression of divine that brings life forth, it has faith in me. It has faith that I didn't have in myself that allowed me to walk through those dark times where I felt completely alone. It gets more comfortable. And we don't have to create these actual islands and isolations to draw God's love near. But I think if we don't do it, if we don't take our mind to God, and maybe it's part of the design anyway, if we don't take our mind to love and allow love to guide us, we live kind of miserable lives. That's from experience. I don't like that life. I want to share the life of love that I've found with everybody. And thank you all for tuning in, joining. Let's wrap it up, though, please. I'll shut up.
All you need is love.
That is it. Anything else? Anyone final words?
I've been at this trying to rattle the cages, wake people up for 30 plus years. It's been a long and lonely journey at times. This last 4 years, I've seen more people become awake and aware, start connecting to God, start talking about God, start, realizing the slave, system that, people have put themselves in because it's a voluntary mind thing. And more people are waking up to it. And that gives me so much more faith that we can win this fight. And it just strengthens, the resolve to keep pushing forward no matter what comes around the corner.
Amen, brother. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to start tossing you guys.
Later.
Thank you.
Hey, peace, Jack.
Thank you, brother. Peace. And, oops. Final words from you, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna share something that always gives me faith since I read this in high school for you guys. It's from a book called Hagakure, the book of the samurai. And it says, when the time comes, there is no moment for reasoning. And if you have not done your inquiries beforehand, there's most often shame. Reading books and listening to people talk are for the purposes of prior resolution. Hold on, give me a second. Let me take my glasses off so I can see this better. It says, above all, the way of the samurai should be in being aware that you do not know what is going to happen next, and in querying every item day and night. Victory and defeat are matters of temporary force of circumstance. The way of avoiding shame is different. It is simply in death. Even if it seems certain that you will lose, retaliate. Neither wisdom nor technique has place in this. A real man does not think of victory or defeat. He plunges recklessly towards an irrational death. By doing this, you will awaken from your dreams. Anyways, I found that displays a great amount of faith, and what I was talking about before is acting without learning and knowing knowing without learning and acting without doing, really. And blessings to you guys. I hope you guys find the faith to that comes before knowledge and after it, and the intuition it takes. Yeah, bless you guys. I'm gonna be over at my channel watching a debate. So if anybody wants to come watch a debate, bless you guys. If you guys are feeling debatey, or especially in the religious, the theological sphere. But yeah, bless you guys. Thank you guys. See you guys soon.
Thank you, brother. God bless. And brothers and sisters, sincerely, all who joined the panel, joined the chat, tuned in the live or afterwards, sincerely thank you. I honor and appreciate you and your time. The goal for me for today is to share some of the perspectives I've been learning on my own. The benefits of growing in faith. It's truly, I don't know that we really got into that much. It would appear to be obvious, but the levels of faith that can be developed, the levels of trust. See, faith is tied to surrender and all sorts of things. The path is quite simple when it's accepted, when it's sought. And I love what Angeline offered there, is that God is there seeking to be discovered. Love is there seeking to be discovered. It's waiting. It's like a mysterious game and a gift the Creator has offered to us with life. The prize of life is the journey. It's the development. It's the refinement, the treasure of memories, of relationships, of the knowing, the pearls of knowledge that we gain through our lifetime of learning. Those things are so powerful, so mysterious, so amazing. My heart is filled with love. Brothers and sisters, this is a state of being I did not understand was possible. My words are clearly insufficient. There is a power in seeking to know the truth, seeking to know love, making those truth and love, wisdom and love, making those the priority for your life, and recognizing that life is short, it's finite, it's here and then it's gone, at least from our internal perspective. So, brothers and sisters, until the next day, please enjoy the hell out of your life. And it's Friday night energies. Those are the weekend energies. That means a little freedom coming forth. So feel that expression of freedom from you, with you, the life that you are, and love the hell out of being you. You'll feel better about it in the end, I'm sure. Thank you again. Please tune in next time, and peace for everyone. Choose love and live without fear. God bless us all. Thank you.